All right, guys, I promised a little quick walk around review on this new 2020 Kawasaki Mule Trans 4x4. Man, that's a mouthful. I wanted to show you guys what we like about it, what we don't like about it. Nothing's perfect. So far, we've been very happy with the machine. We've used it quite a bit already, and we've got a ton more projects coming down the road where this is going to make it a whole lot easier. My big old F250 doesn't fit in a lot of tight places, and this mule will get us there, and I don't have to worry about getting stuck when the ground's a little bit softer as well, because it's obviously a lot lighter. So I'm just gonna do a quick walk around. Standard features for this, we pretty much got it stock, minus the top. That was about a $700 add-on, which was not cheap, but it's steel and it's actually strong enough that you could stand up there. So if you needed to do any kind of work on something a little bit higher, you could actually use that as a fairly safe platform to do some work with. Front bumper guard comes with it. Everything else you see here is stock. We haven't added anything on yet. I'm gonna take you guys along for those videos when we do. Let's see here. So right now it is a trans model, which I thought stood for transformation, but it actually stands for transport. And I don't know if you can see right there is a rear seat that actually folds up when you don't need it, and the bed collapses a little bit so that you have the additional seating when you need it, and a little bit shorter bed. 99% of the time it's just going to be us or even just one of us driving this. So that sold us on this model of machine, because we wanted to be able to take the whole family on it if we wanted to go for a drive or something like that. But 99% of the time we're going to be using it for working, hauling things. So we wanted as much cargo space as possible with a smaller overall footprint of the machine. So pretty happy about that. I'll show you guys here in a few minutes how we transform that. Comes with a standard 2-inch receiver hitch, which I was happy about. This is just an old, or hitch receiver I should say. This is an old hitch that I had from the truck in the shop, and we've already used that. That's actually what we used to pull the mobile chicken coop across the property. Did a fantastic job. You couldn't even tell it was pulling anything. How this thing transforms or reconfigures from a 2-person to a 4-person model. There on the side of the bed here, there's a strap, there's a lever on each side that looks just like that, and that's also going to be the same one that holds down the seats. And you can see on the side of the seat here the strap location there. So on either side of the device, you got to remove the strap to unlock the bed, and these little panels here are going to fold in, and then this big piece right here you lift up. It does take 2 people, and it's got little holes that it sits in here. You're going to move it to that back hole there after you fold these panels in, and then the seat's just going to fold right up. So I'm gonna mount this, and I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. All right, guys, so like I said, you just undo these latches on the bottom here. This piece lifts straight up, and we're going to move it forward and put it in the holes in the front here. So the same levers that we had to release on the front, you simply pop them right back into place and lock them in. And then these fold shut like that. The back seat folds down. And right on the other side, there's a little push button by the hinge that you want to push that unlocks the seat rest.
Pull it.
You pull it. All right, great. And then those same straps we saw earlier that open the bed, lock the seat back in place. So we just showed how to do the conversion from a 2-seater to a 4-seater. So you saw the earlier segment. That's what it looks like now with 4 seats. So plenty of room to haul the family around. It could really hold 3 people on each bench seat. It's rated for 2, so I'm not going to advise any more than 4 people total, but you can look at the size. It's plenty big enough to hold a couple more people. So this is what it looks like, and as you can see, the bed is a lot shorter than it was just a while ago. Another thing I don't like about this setup here is a lot of these newer UTVs, the engine is actually in the rear, not the front. And on this particular model, with the whole seat folding thing. It's not a big deal. I would just prefer there to be less steps. So to get to the engine compartment, you have to unstrap the seats, fold them down, and you can access the engine bay. I'll show you guys that real quick. One thing I thought was really cool about this class of UTV, I haven't seen in a lot of other ones, is this right here. If you guys can see that on the back roll cage is actually the air intake. So this air intake being up high allows you to go through a little bit deeper water. It also prevents as much dirt and debris from sucking up into the engine. I think that's going to help the longevity of the device. Speaking of which, another selling point for the Kawasaki Mule over, say, the Polaris, which was one of the contenders that I was going for, is the Kawasaki Mule has a 36-month, so that's a 3-year warranty. That's pretty substantial compared to your other UTVs. Some of these things come with as little as like a 60-day warranty for a machine that, you know, some of these guys spend upwards of 20 grand on, which I think is nuts. So I'm pretty happy with the Mule's warranty. It's a little bit slower and a little bit heavier because there's a lot more metal, there's less plastic. That's another selling point. These things are workhorses. You know, we didn't buy this to play, we bought it to work around the farm. It's going to be a working machine. Yeah, we'll have a little bit of fun on it too, but that's not what it's designed to do. So we're perfectly happy with a little bit slower, a little bit heavier. The right side of the vehicle is where the fuel is. It holds about a little over 6 gallons of gasoline so far. We've been using this thing like crazy, and we're still a little over half a tank of fuel, so I'm pretty happy with that, and that includes several long trips down our dead-end road. Another good feature right over here on the right-hand side is you've got easy access to your air filter here, and if you look underneath here, I don't know if you guys can see that, right here is old dipstick, so you don't have to take anything apart or lift anything to clean out your air filter or check your oil level. All right, guys, here's what the engine looks like. 617 cc, 4-stroke, very clean from the factory. They did a really good job. There's not even an oil smudge on this thing, no drips, no leaks, anything like that. Everything is really easy to get to on this engine. You can see the oil filler cap right over there. One thing that I really like is the oil filter is in a very easy to get to spot. There's a lot of room for your hands and arms to get in there, so I don't think we're going to have any challenges servicing this machine, so I'm pretty happy about that. One of the things that I don't like about this Mule that made me just a little bit hesitant is the tire size and the ground clearance. The ground clearance on this thing is a little over 7 inches, which is not very high. I don't know if you can tell from the camera angle here. It's a little low to the ground for a standard UTV. The tire size that comes stock on these things is 23 inches. I talked to the guy at the service center, and they sell and there's some aftermarket ones as well, but they sell a 2-inch lift kit for these things that allows you to put up to 26-inch tires on here. We're not going to spend that money right now, but at some point we're definitely going to do that. That would get the ground clearance a little over 10 inches, which is a lot closer to what some of your standard UTVs have in this class, like say a Polaris 570. I want to say it's right at about 10-inch clearance on that stock. So that's one thing we don't like about it. The other thing I wanted to bring up is the brakes, and to be fair, I haven't talked to the service guy yet. I don't know if it's normal or not, but the brakes on this, I feel like they should be a lot more sensitive than they are. You really got to push down on that brake pedal to get a good stop on this thing. I feel like it's you just extend it just a little bit farther than it needs to be. So I'm going to talk to him about that, but so far not real happy with the brakes. It does stop. I wouldn't go real fast and then try to stop on a dime in this thing. On the left-hand side, you've got the parking brake, which is a standard lever parking brake like you'd find in a lot of vehicles, real conveniently located. It's something that's also very easy to forget about, as I've done a few times now. On your dash, you've got, starting from left to right, you've got headlights here, horn, differential lock down here. Well, that's something that a lot of models in this class don't have, which is really nice if you're in a bind. On the indicator lights up here above the steering wheel on the dash, you've got oil, temperature, parking brake light indicator. That's the one that I don't pay attention to, guys. DFI, direct fuel injection. This is a direct fuel injection machine, which is another plus. You also got a little power steering light down here as well. This is the EPS model, so it's got power steering. Power steering I figured was essential so that the kids could drive a little bit easier. Also doesn't wear your arms out when you're driving around all day. You'd be surprised how much of a difference that power steering makes. Down here you've got your gear shifter, CVT transmission. You've got high, low, neutral, reverse. Over here you've got your two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, engage, fuel lever indicator, hour indicator, ignition. Comes with one 12-volt aux port. We're going to be adding either one more of those or a maybe a couple of USB ports for charging onboard devices like phones and things like that. On the right hand side, there's also one here on the left is a glove box. A lot of storage space in there. And of course you've got your gas and brake pedal down here. On the right hand side of the steering wheel, you've got brake fluid level indicator window. That's where the brake fluid is located. I believe you access that from up top in the front storage compartment. I honestly haven't checked that out. To the left of the steering wheel, you've got the front hatch. Pull that out, lift it up. Got a pretty good sized storage compartment in here. I've been told in other reviews online that this is not completely watertight, so we're going to check that out. And if it's not, I'm thinking we could add some additional weather stripping to get it a little bit more weather tight. On the right hand side is a coolant reservoir as well. This is a water cooled. One quick note I forgot to talk about on the roof is another reason we opted for the more expensive roof is you can't use the basic plastic models on the trans model of this UTV. The trans model being the one where the seats fold up and back down for that additional space, because when the seat is folded down like this and you've got that back part right there all the way up to the front of the bed, it would hit the roof. So the roof on these, if you come in closer, actually has hydraulic hinges, and there's a little simple mechanism on either side that you just twist off, spin that little bar around, and it folds up. It's kind of silly, but it folds up just enough for you to be able to clear that back brush gate there, brush guard, whatever you want to call it. So that's an important feature to notice, because if you buy one of these thinking you're going to save money on the top, you need to make sure it's got a top that folds up like that, because if it doesn't, when you're in one-seater mode, or two-seater mode I should say, your rear end is not going to fold out.
Hey guys, taking her on her first spin. So far everything works great. Running good, tops out at about 25 miles an hour, not real fast, but not pretty smooth ride. Not very loud, fairly quiet for a UTV. So far we like it.
All right, guys. Hopefully you got something out of that quick review. I know I didn't go into a ton of detail, but when I was searching online, trying to decide on which utility vehicle would be a good fit for us, we had a very difficult time finding a good, honest review and just a general walk around that wasn't from a salesperson. So hopefully I gave you guys an honest review, showed you some things that might help you with your decision on a purchase if you're looking for a mule. If you do, guys, if you're anywhere remotely close to New Braunfels, Texas, check out Woods Cycle Country. Mike Bloodworth over there, he really hooked us up with a good deal. Great guy, was very responsive, and matter of fact, he's still talking to me today, even after he made the sale. So y'all check them out. Shout out to Mike. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.